Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another Employability Live session. I'm Wendy from Grad Prentice, and today we want to discuss a really exciting topic, especially in the new year now, where we're all trying to figure out what we're going to do with the portfolios we have. And we really want to go into finding out how can creative grads and students get their portfolio work recognized in industry. So today, to help me out and have a really constructive and really informative discussion, I have Jack Barber with me, and he's going to give us a real insight, based on where he works and what he does. But I'm going to pass it over to Jack, and he will sort of introduce himself. And Jack, take over and let us know everything that we need to know.
Thanks so much for inviting me on, Wendy. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. So my name's Jack. I have been doing sort of design and creative recruitment for the past 3 years, and I work for a company called Salt, spelt like the condiment. We're a global company with offices around the world and based here in London. And so I've found throughout the years that there's a huge passion for creatives and designers to really support one another, and I'm definitely trying to sort of take that on board and help as many people through sharing content, through giving advice. And particularly that needs to be sort of directed, I feel, at the kind of junior audience, the people that are just trying to get into industry and land their first jobs. And I think one of the hardest things is actually getting noticed, where there's so many applicants out there. Sometimes it can be quite daunting, but there are some real practical steps that you can take to really improve your chances of getting in front of the right people, getting yourself noticed. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk through. And I've got a few basic steps and techniques and processes that you can implement. And I think, assuming that you've got a great CV, you've sort of nailed your portfolio, you've got your best shoes on and you're ready to put your strongest foot forward. These are a few things that you can do to help improve your sort of application hit rate. So the first thing you need to do is get yourself really organized. I would start by creating a kind of centralized application tracker. You can use Excel if you want to go old school, but there are some really cool online sort of browser-based tools such as Notion or Airtable, which are really, really great for sort of linking in contacts, setting up sort of emails and just tracking your sort of job applications from the various different places that you're applying from. So once you've got that set up, I would probably go and look at setting up some job alerts. It's a really, really basic thing, but with so many people applying to the same roles, you want to get there first. So I'd go to places like LinkedIn. I would look at Reed, Indeed, CW Jobs, The Dots, all of these different places. I would get your sort of job application notifications coming through to your email every single day. So now you've got your tracker, you've set up all your alerts, and you're ready to kind of start networking a little bit. There's loads of really great mentorship programs out there that are absolutely free. I mean, LinkedIn is a great one. Use it to your advantage. Reach out to people in industry and don't be afraid to knock on doors and say, hey, can you give me some advice? But there are some actual mentorship programs for creatives, for designers. One that sort of strikes me is Awesome Design People List. .co, I believe. I might be wrong on that, but you can find it. And you can connect with real mentors in industry, and they'll give you loads of fantastic advice. And on that, networking is a really amazing tool. I mean, obviously, we can't really do face-to-face events at the moment, but there's tons of virtual events out there. One that I've attended quite a lot over the years is UX Crunch. If you're trying to get into UX, UI, digital design space, it's a fantastic place to network. And when they eventually do face-to-face events, you can go stick a sticker on your chest there that says you're looking for a job and actually connect with hiring managers. But just go for the virtual ones and look at sites like The Dots, for example, which have event pages with tons of amazing events on there, virtual or not. And you can connect with people, get advice. And the more people you speak to, the more advice you get, the more fine-tuned you will be at sort of honing in on those opportunities. And I think the final one is a little bit controversial, but I think reaching out to people directly. I always say to these sort of young candidates and these young junior people getting into the industry, young or old, if you're going into a new industry, leave your shame at the door, park it there and go out and sort of attack it. And don't be afraid to sort of slip into someone's DMs, hit them up on LinkedIn and ultimately reach out to them directly. It's quality over quantity. if you're approaching a hiring manager who's, let's say, hiring a junior design position and they've got 300 applications, rather than sort of allowing them to get through all those applications, you're kindly finding out their email address, or perhaps getting them on LinkedIn, and you're messaging them a really personalized, really well constructed message that says, hey, hiring manager, I've seen your job. I'm a perfect fit for it for these reasons. But not only that, I love your brand. I've seen some of the social content that you've been doing recently. If someone's really taken the time and effort to personalize and customize a message to that hiring manager, we're only human at the end of the day. We have empathy, and they're really likely to get back to you. And actually, that might put you at the very front of the queue. So leave your shame at the door. Be super organized. Make sure you use the tech and all the resources that are available to you. And that will just give you that little edge above perhaps some of the other applications the other applicants that aren't doing that. So hopefully that's helpful, Wendy. I've probably rambled on a little bit there.
No, that's all right.
I'm sure some stuff to discuss as well.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love the whole, leave the shame at the door, because it's the most uncomfortable thing to try to introduce yourself to someone who has not known you, who doesn't know you from anywhere, and you're literally trying to make a connection. But this is it, it pays just to take that risk. And I would say to anyone, go ahead and do it. But for me, where I'm coming from, just linking that whole, trying to make that connection, putting yourself out there is another way of you trying to make that connection with somebody you may not know, or you may not necessarily have the inkling that you will actually connect. And it's so important that bringing that self-branding out of you is really important. I mean, it's so important to be distinct in the way you present yourself. Employers and even people in the creative industry want to know what kind of a designer you are. I'll give you an example. I attended an event at one of the universities in London, and what we basically were doing as industry experts, we were invited to look at portfolios that students had done for their final projects, and some of the portfolios that we saw were mind-blowing, absolutely amazing. And what we did was we came out of that portfolio feedback, and we actually had a chance to talk to the students and actually get to know more about them and more about the portfolio that they created. But the biggest or the most important feedback that we had for the students was that, portfolio work and, presenting your work in a way that is absolutely amazing on your portfolios really needs to show up in the person, because you are the person who sells the actual portfolio. What you have on your portfolio should really sink through into who you are. So understanding the type of designer you are, and really brand yourself and make sure that you stand out and you're distinct. We do at Grad Prentice, we do personal development plans, and these really kind of bring out your skill set. But not only that, they will tailor you into the kind of creative person that you are. And when you do, a self-development, a self-profile of yourself, and understand that, I'm an AI person, or I really absolutely love, a particular type of design, you are able to actually match your portfolio with the person actually presenting, the work that they're doing. Because effectively, you will get to talk face to face to a recruiter, hiring manager, or the next project that you want to work on. And if you go into entrepreneurship, you've got clients who want to know, are you the type of brand that they want to work with? So definitely self-branding, making yourself distinct, putting yourself out there, showing up as the person, the creative that you are, is really key. Jack, have you got anything else to add on to that?
I just think you're so right. I mean, personal branding is something that I've always touched on when sort of doing these talks. It's not just about sort of creating a consistent CV and portfolio. It's about how you communicate. It's about, connecting everything together, connecting all your communications together, your LinkedIn, your CV, your portfolio, the way you chat on email, whatever it might be. Just make sure you get that personality and that personal branding across. I think that's really important.
Yeah. And, I just wish everyone the best of luck. If you're going out for an interview, if you're about to showcase your portfolio, you will do really great. And take these tips with you, because they will definitely work for you. So thank you so much for being with us at this live session, and we hope to see you again. And thank you, Jack, for being my wonderful guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.